This week in Destiny, we have the Lightblade Grandmaster. Now, this Grandmaster can be difficult as there is a lot of things that can one-shot you. The Lucent Hive here have tracking shields and they can one-shot you as well. But hopefully with this guide, you're going to be able to quickly and easily get through this Grandmaster with some tips and tricks alongside of just knowing what to do and places that you can sit to make things a lot easier. So like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of that. Check out the membership stuff down below, and let's have a quick word from our sponsor. When you first load into this Nightfall and head down the stairs, one of the first things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make Alak-Hul disappear. To do this, all you need to do is shoot him a few times, and once he takes enough damage, he will disappear. Once he is gone, there are going to be two anti-barrier champions you're going to want to deal with. They have a tendency to move around this area of the map a little bit, so keep your eyes open for them and deal with them. Once the anti-barrier champions have been dealt with, you can push forward into the next area. You do not have to kill any more adds here, as they're going to despawn when you push up to the next room. Once in the next room, sit at the back of this hallway and deal with the wizard or wizards that are going to push you a little bit and whatever thrall come towards you. Once you push down this hallway, you are then met immediately with an anti-barrier champion and our first of many Lightbearer Hive. Now I recommend that you deal with the Lightbearer first, as when he pops his super, he's just going to throw shields at you and they can one-shot you. His suppressor grenades can one-shot you, so I always recommend taking care of the Lightbearer Hive first. Make your life a lot easier. Once you've done that, do the anti-barrier champion. Once the anti-barrier champion has been dealt with, you're going to go down where the anti-barrier champion was and you're going to turn around as another Lightbearer Hive is going to spawn where you came into the room. Once again, deal with this Lightbearer Hive. Every time I have run this, he usually pops his super pretty much immediately, so be careful of that. If you have ways to suppress him, I always recommend doing that so that this way he cannot throw those shields, but take care of him. Once you take care of that, you're going to go back up top where you came in, and another barrier champion and another Lightbearer Hive is going to spawn in. Same thing as the first round. Take care of the Lightbearer Hive, take care of the anti-barrier champion, and we can move on past this room. Thing to note here is that there are a ton of ads that are going to spawn. There's more notably going to be two knights that are going to spawn, and they hurt. They will one-shot you if they can get their swords into you. So also be mindful of that as you work your way into this room and through this room, so we can move on to the next area, which is going to be our little boat ride. When you get into this room, there are going to be two anti-barrier champions, one on each side. Take care of them, they're pretty easy to deal with, and then get on the boat. I was running Omnioculus Hunter, meaning we could just stay on the boat. I could smoke me and my teammates and nothing would attack us. If you're not running a Omnioculus Hunter with the setup to just go invisible constantly, I highly recommend getting on the ship, starting it and jumping off, and then work your way up slowly, dealing with the Shrieker in the sky before you get to the area where you have to dunk the void. Now once you get to that area, whether you stayed on the boat or you got off the boat, there are going to be two Lightbearer Hives, one on each side like the barrier champions previously, and we're going to have to take care of them. For both sides of this room, simply take care of the Lightbearers, grab the void orb and deposit it so this way the door can open, and much like this previous room, the same thing is going to apply here. Since I was running Omnioculus and I could go invisible pretty much the entire time with my teammates, we stayed on the boat, we rode it the whole way through. It was easy, we didn't have to kill anything, it was very simple, nobody had to worry about dying here. But if you are not running an Omnioculus Hunter, you may want to get off of the boat and do this on foot, taking care of the enemies as you go, so this way you don't get caught off guard and end up wiping here. Whatever you do when you get to the end, the boat's going to stop, all the thrall are going to dogpile on top of you, which makes for some very satisfying explosions, especially if you're running a setup that leads adds to explode. Once you get past this though, this is going to lead us into the swamp. Probably the hardest thing in this Nightfall just before the boss room. Now in the swamp, your movement is going to be hindered. There's going to be screebs and moths that spawn, raiders that shoot at you, and this is going to be a pain. There are a bunch of ways you can get through this particular area without actually having to do the mechanic. One of the old tried and true methods is just stay to the left side of the swamp as far as you can before you get no turning back, and just stay on that side and nothing was going to bother you. Another thing that we tried to do do is use the old Omnioculus, go invisible and walk through the swamp strat. It works until you run out of Omnioculus because your allies are either too far behind or too far ahead, or one of them is already dead. But another method that we can use here is that once you get to about almost halfway and you have a Blade Fury Titan, have them pop their super, because they can run through the rest of this map unhindered. Meaning, as long as they don't swipe, they don't do their uppercut, they don't do any of that stuff, and they just run, they can get to just about the end with the rest of their entire super, and if anything hits them, they have their super armor to protect them from anything that might happen. A moth blows up in their face, they have the super armor that can protect them from one moth, so keep that in mind. But this strategy works pretty well. We did this a few times, and it worked pretty much every single time, except for the one time we popped it a little too early. But you have to be roughly halfway through the swamp for this to work. Once that ally gets through the swamp, you no longer are worried about your restricted movement, and we can move forward into this little cave where there's going to be an unstoppable champion waiting for you. Take care of him, clear out the Az, and you're going to want to stand on this little mouth opening of this cave where you're then going to look down at everything and just start shooting everything. Again, same thing like the first room, you're going to want to shoot Alak-Hul first and get him out of here. He's going to be annoying. Once Alak-Hul has been dealt with, you can then drop down and deal with the ogres, the unstoppable abominations, push forward, deal with the shriekers, and then we can drop down into the boss room. Once you land in this room, get off of this platform, as Alak-Hul will spawn here, and when he spawns, he has the occasion tendency to kill you with his spawning animation, so just be mindful of that and move. As soon as Alak-Hul spawns, he's going to target one of your teammates and jump at them. Now this plays into our benefit heavily, as the AI in this game is not that smart. Once he targets one of your enemies, he's not going to stop until he can actually hit them. So what your teammates can do is jump back and forth between the platform and whatever side of the room they want to be on, allowing you to do some pretty good DPS to Alak-Hul. Keep doing this until you get him down to his third of a health bar, where he's going to become immune, go in the middle and spawn 2 Arc Shielded Knights and a Lightbearer Hive. Deal with them whichever way you can. For example, I like to throw my tether in the center and have my friendly use their Chaos Reach, as it dealt with them very nicely. Don't be afraid to pop your supers here, as there's going to be orbs that spawn constantly throughout this particular encounter. Once you have dealt with the Lightbearer Hive and the Arc Shielded Knights, it's going to be more or less the same until you get him down to about that halfway mark in that current bar you're working on, where there's going to be 2 anti-barrier champions that spawn. Deal with them and then continue to work on Alak-Hul. Now, the thing that's going to change here is his helmet is going to pop off and he's going to become far more aggressive. The kiting between the middle platform and whatever side your teammate's jumping to may not work as effectively, because his AI changes a little bit to just run around the ring and attack whatever he can get to. Either way, damage him down to that last little section where, again, in the center he's going to go Lightbearer Hive, 2 Arc Knights, take care of them, deal more damage to him, get him halfway, 2 more anti-barrier champions, and then you can defeat him and watch all that glorious loot fall on the right hand side of your screen. Now again, Lightblade can be challenging, but there's a lot of little tips and tricks that I mentioned in this video that can make it a little less daunting. So like, comment, and subscribe if this video helped you in any capacity. Also check those links down in the description for our sponsor and our Discord server that is growing very slowly day after day, and I would love to see you there. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.